Now you're watching Billiard Lovers Finland. And we're gonna go to the airport. We're gonna meet Florian Venom Kohler there, who's a master trickshot pool guy originally from France, and now he's living at the States in Atlanta. And we're gonna go there with Joni Ahola, who's the chairman of the board of Finland Billiard Association, and we have a cameraman. Becky's here also with us, and let's gonna go and head off to airport. All right, so it's almost 4 p.m. and it's quite dark here in Helsinki. It's -5. Winter is coming. We don't have that much snow yet, but the northern Finland is full of snow. There's maybe 1 or 2 meters of snow by now. Maybe not that much, but almost. Downhill skiing centers are open, and it's coming to Helsinki also quite soon. Hopefully we get some snow and we have white Christmas here. Niin, kyllä.
Ei ole sille mikään enää tuntematon paikka.
Kyllä. Kyllä. No niin, here we go. The plane is landed. So we're gonna go meet Florian, and there's a little present for him also from town. We're gonna see, hopefully he likes it. And then of course some Finnish speciality, salmiakki. This is black salmiakki. I think they don't sell it anywhere else, this kind of a candy than in Finland.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Alright, Helsinki Vantaa Airport. The plane has landed from Paris Charles de Gaulle. So it's landed 2A, 2B. Oh, this one. Hello, Florian.
Hey, how are you? That was long. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. I don't know. But you got your bags.
Yeah, I got my cues, so that's good. This one I don't care. Well, I might get my jacket out though.
Okay, good.
Pretty cold out there.
Cameraman here.
-5.
But hey, first of all,
Thank
a
you
little
so
bit
much.
for you.
Thank you.
Actually, it's a greeting from Tom and some Finnish speciality,
Awesome.
the black candy.
All right.
From Joni.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hello, Florian. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We're good. We're good. We're actually at the President Hotel lobby. Maybe after a few minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, give me like 20 minutes or so. Just finish taking a shower and stuff.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Take your time.
Hey.
Hey, did you sleep well?
Yeah, okay, actually.
Got some breakfast?
Yeah.
Good.
We have one problem to figure out. USA decided to put the 24-hour test now.
You need it to do now?
No, we need a 24-hour test basically.
Oh, okay.
So I was trying to find some information, but I don't know where to do. This scenario is two tests basically.
Yeah,
Let's make our life basically.
Kasvua on orpopojan tie pitkä ja mittaamaton. Ei koskaan kotilieden lämpöhön se vie, missä äitini kehrännyt on. Vaan aina maailmalle, oudon orren alle, laina lattialle, kallistan mä pään. Mä taivas alla tanssin, kohtaloni valssin, onnestani
About the interview point, who is Florian?
Good question.
And who is Venom?
Who's
Are they
Florian?
same person or
It's the
two,
same.
two different person or?
No, it's the same guy. As Venom is just a nickname that I was given when I started, because I'm a poison for the pool tables. It's a true story. I didn't do it myself. Like I didn't give it myself. It was first time after I did the trip to USA, and it's, my let's just say my tables are pretty bad if I really abuse of it. So yeah.
So
they
when
called
was the first trip to US?
I don't think I was able to drink yet, so it must have been before 21. So yeah, I'm 33 right now. So yeah, I think I started traveling when I was in my 19, 20.
So what was the reason that you went to States first time?
Well, obviously for the trick shot, there is no other. There's no tournament in France. Doesn't even exist. We do have artistic billiards on the carom table, but slightly different. So the only tournament was in the US. So I decided to go to the US, test myself. First tournament was really bad. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I think I won the next one right after. So it took me a couple years only to really be at the top level with those guys, and after that it was just business as usual.
Do you remember where it was held, the first?
The very first one I went to was in Connecticut. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I didn't speak any English or nothing. I just kind of went there, and it was like the only
young French guy.
Yeah, only guy walking to, like, they all had cars and stuff. It's very interesting, but yeah, it's fun, man. It's a good time. I got very lucky. I traveled a lot for this, so. Yeah. But traveling used to be a lot easier, a lot more fun too.
Yeah, but it tells me, I don't know you personally. This second time I met you yesterday was the first time, but it tells that you're really determined to do what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't like to lose. And,
well, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the only way. Well, and for the trick shot industry, it was a little different. But I started when I was 18, so I wasn't very old at all. I wasn't very young at all. Most of the time it's
like 13 or 14
most of the time it would be too late, right?
Yeah.
But the difference is I didn't have anybody teaching me at all. So I didn't have a preconceived idea or routine or nothing like that.
So where did you learn it?
Online, on the internet. And so I saw trick shots on the internet. I didn't know how to play pool at all. So I decided to do this because that's the only thing I saw. So I recreated the trick shot I was seeing. And then after maybe not even 2 years, I knew all the trick shot they were doing in the last 60 years. So I did my own version of it. And then from there, I just went better and better, pretty much, creating more stuff. And and then I got lucky. I got a few videos that went viral, and I was able to, to keep going this way. But really, the reason I'm here and anywhere really is because I invented a bunch of new shots, probably about 10,000 new shots for trick shots. So,
how do you create a new shot?
It's hard to explain. It's a little different now because it's a different time in my life right at the moment. But
in the beginning.
In the beginning, you just spend time, 8 hours, 10 hours a day on the pool table until my hands are, bleeding pretty much. I was the only guy I broke my wrist playing pool, actually. It's just a lot of practice, and it's sometimes, you create a thing that you think is going to work, then it doesn't work, then you change your location of balls, you make something out of it.
But you need to have this
inspiration comes from everywhere, inspiration comes from like golf videos, skateboards video, basketball, whatever it is, whatever you can find.
A skateboard video.
Skateboards, BMX,
can
a lot.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, the way the motions are, and the different things, the obstacle, there's a few different things that would come into play, but really you had to find, if you take I don't know, take motocross for example, right? Or bicycle. Bicycle's even better, right? So you have people that drive a bicycle, you know, long time around the track or whatever as fast as possible. You have people do the Tour de France, right? Then you have one guy that does BMX and he does, you know, one jump, and then a guy does a backflip, then another guy does a second backflip, then next thing you know they're doing triple backflips, right? It's the same for me really. So it was the way it started, and it was just always the same little things. And then the good pool player were doing trick shots because they had to, because to make their thing more interested, you know, but that was it. But they never really cared about it. And then, you know, after that, a few people did a few things, but the shots were really simple and always the same, from the same shot. I mean, how do we have a sport so big that still does the same shot for like 100 years? It's crazy, right? Now, the jump shots, the jump cues are better, everything, the materials are better, the balls are better. So it was kind of a natural evolution, and that's how it went, you know. And then once you start pushing the limits, the idea is to push them as far as possible and make it as ridiculous as you can. So yeah, a lot of inspiration from three cushion as well. But again, you know, because three cushion, the slate is thicker, the balls are bigger and it's faster. It's a lot easier to make crazy stuff than on a pool table. Pool table, you have to force a little bit of everything. So.
Okay, so it's a warm table.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, me, it was just pushing the limits. So I never cared if anybody invented the shot now, whatever. You know, I'm not interested in doing it again. I'll do my own version of it, sure, but you know. So
you also try to do that kind of a shots what are quite hard to copy.
Yeah. That's my favorite thing, is to create new shots. I mean, I like the shows, don't get me wrong, but I'm happier if you leave me alone and pay me to do nothing but practicing and creating new shots. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. That's unfortunately not the way it works. But if that was the case, that would be my favorite thing. So.
Yeah, but let's be honest. You have a quite nice career right now. You can do what you love. Not that many billiard player can do.
Well, you know, the difference is a lot of those guys don't realize that they have to run a business. I'm not a pool player, I'm running a business.
Yeah.
And if you change the mentality, that's a little different story. Your choices are based on making money or doing a business rather than what you just want as well.
That's
so
true.
It's a little different, you know, and a lot of pool players, that's what they're missing. They're not running like a business, they think they're running just as a sport or whatever, but pool is too small to be run just like an athlete normal thing. So you have to run a business and you have to be smart about it.
Yeah.
So
that's probably quite true.
Yeah.
Because it's tough.
Well, and even the way, you know, that people handle sponsors and stuff like that, social media. I mean, the new generation is much better. But, you know, if you go back 10 years ago when I started, nobody cared about social media. None of the pool players were on it. They thought it was just, you know, useless.
And
now the new generation
quite
is.
New.
Yeah, but the junior generation, they're using Instagram, they're on Facebook, they
Yeah.
have their fan page and stuff, but still, they could still do a lot better though.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's the only way to make money, so you have to have a presence, and then the sponsors will be happier with you, and you know, and then that gets you guaranteed money, because you can have one good year winning a lot of money in tournaments.
Yeah, this is quite
but
funny
the next
because
year is tough.
I just spoke about the same thing about 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm having a small seminar in the beginning of next year.
That's good.
About the sponsorship
and how
to the players.
Yeah.
How do you treat sponsors?
Absolutely.
Because it's really important. It's not just like you
huge.
post something.
Well, and I think it comes a little bit because people think it's only talent and how good you are.
Yeah.
The problem is talent and how good you are doesn't make you last.
That's true.
You'll have a good year just playing tournaments, and maybe that's what you love. Great. The problem is what happened next year when you don't win everything, you know?
Yeah.
It's very tricky. What happened the year after when you lose even more, you know?
Yeah.
Now it gets very difficult, so you need to be able to make a living out of the sports without being just winning and winning and winning.
Yeah. Because nobody can do that like forever.
No, it's just the nature of the beast. You know, sports is made for it to be evolved, and there's always going to be a new guy, a better guy, a younger guy, so...
Yeah, that's true. So we talked yesterday, we went to the dinner, and you say that you're involved in the pool league.
Yeah.
In Vegas?
Yeah, so I own a part of franchise. So APA is the name of the big franchise.
What it stands for? APA?
American Pool Association.
Okay.
It's just basically a bunch of amateurs, and it is actually the biggest amateur league in the country by far in the U.S. They're looking at 250,000 members playing pool.
250,000 members.
Actively, yeah.
Wow.
And so they have different franchises in different cities, right? So I did buy the Vegas franchise, which is actually the entire county. And it's taking care of about 800 people right now. So it's quite a bit, a lot of problems that comes with it.
Yeah, for sure. How
But,
often they play?
They play
How
weekly.
Often there's some weekly.
Weekly. We have leagues on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. The only one we don't have is Saturday because we have a lot of tournaments usually. So
Yeah.
I actually have, I think, 42 tournaments a year for those guys.
That's quite a lot.
That is a lot, yeah. It's a funny thing actually in America because, in my opinion, the amateur league is much more organized than the professional side of pool. So you can probably make actually even more money playing just amateur pool in the U.S. than being a pro. So it's very interesting. But our tournaments are really big. It's very interesting, and the beauty of it is because it is amateur and it's handicapped. You always need to bring new people to play the sports, and that's what we're missing in Europe, at least in my opinion. You have a lot of great players in Europe, but we're missing new people, right? And the amateur league in the US really bring that, and that's pretty amazing, actually.
Is there some kind of a program to the beginners or the younger players?
I also run a juniors league, yeah. Yeah, we have it only once a month, but we have about 20, 25 kids right now, so it's nice. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a good thing. You can see quite easily and fast who are the talented ones and who need.
Yeah, we have a
more
girl right now
help
that I
and-
think she'll be pretty much the top ladies, and it's always hard to say, but I think she's there. She's got the mental for it, right? You kind of know right away if somebody's going to be good or not.
Yeah.
Some people are, they get good, but they'll never get like champions, and some of them you just think they will be now. When they're young, it's always hard because it's hard to know how it will evolve, but when, sometimes
And you get 18, 17, 18, you
a lot
get
of
to the
things
bars
change,
and
yeah.
there's a lot of things dragging you everywhere to do something.
Yeah, and I think it's part of the problem with pool as well, is you have to stay very serious, right? And like I said, I don't really drink. I don't do anything. I go. I work. I do a job. It's my job. It's not.
That was interesting to hear because I don't drink alcohol at all.
Yeah, and a lot of pool players, they love their drinking and everything. But it's.
So I think everybody can do what they want to do. Yeah. Of course, I don't judge anybody. It's their life. I got mine. You got yours. But I think it would be a wise thing to think what you do.
Well, for me, it comes back to the same thing. It's a business for me, so it's like, do you drink at work? No, right? Yeah. There we go. So that's what I try to tell people. So it's the same principle,
Yeah.
I'll have a drink, here once in a while, but I'll have to be definitely not when I'm, plus it's part of your image as well, and you try to show the example to younger generation and kids. So
yeah,
there's
a lot of people are talking about this. It's good to be an example and blah blah blah, but in the end of the day, does they show it?
Yeah.
So it's a different thing to tell something and do something.
In Europe, we're not. I mean, we have a lot of the top players that they're pretty serious, in my opinion. They really take it very nicely and as a sport, but it's.
And that is the one thing I want to change in the industry and in Finland, how people think about pool and billiards, because it really can be a sport.
It's a very interesting problem we have for pool. I agree. I don't, part of the popularity of the sport is because it is in a bar and because it is what it is, and the hustling, all the movies that they brought this reputation of, bad boy, sports, but in the same time, it's such an incredible sport that has nothing to do with bars at all, actually.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
You could teach physics and math on a pool table for kids in school.
And they're doing it now in Europe.
There should be pool should be in school because there's a few things that are very, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're small, skinny, or tall.
That's
like
true.
regardless it is, everybody could probably enjoy, pool. Same for Kohler, it doesn't. There's no physical ability
Yeah,
needed. I mean,
it
it's
doesn't
one of the
separate
easiest
people
thing.
at all.
Exactly.
Everybody is
Yeah.
on the same level, same line, friends.
Yeah, and
Even it doesn't
there's a lot to offer on that side.
yeah, and it doesn't matter if you don't work, if you're a flight captain, if you're whatever. It's kind of a same.
Yeah, it's a greatest equalizer, but I think it's very in the era of the time as well. So I'm not sure. Pool's a very interesting, and pool and all cue sports in general. It's a very interesting thing because we're actually number 3 sports played in the world. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
The pool, cue sports in general is more popular than baseball, for example, or hockey,
Yeah, that
But for some reason, there's no pro tour the size of what it should be. We're right behind basketball and football. That's incredible,
Yeah.
And somehow we don't have nothing.
Only in China alone, there's 160 million registered
Yep.
player. So it gives a little bit perspective. If
I think,
in Finland there's
you know-
5.6 million people, so
I think if somebody decides to, one of the big brands to put, really their mind to work into the sport, I think we could have something really amazing.
yeah, that's
But,
true. A really amazing.
And
And
it won't
I-
even take a lot of money, not a lot of money in terms of like if you're talking a big brand,
Yeah,
but it's,
it needs some people who wants to do it
yeah.
a little bit from their heart, of course, business-wise also, but people who really wants to execute that.
Well,
and
I
do.
think it's not even from the heart, but a big brand, that multinational, brand that's all over the world, it's got could actually potentially with very little amount own an entire industry, which I think is amazing. You don't own a piece of the soccer industry right away. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to spend hundreds of millions to be in the World Cup,
Yeah,
or as a sponsors. But in the same time, that same brand, drink, whatever, food company, that could own the entire pool industry for a fraction of that cost. So
what is your opinion? How I don't know. Does anybody know this? But what do you think? How many players are there in the world? Active players.
that's a hard number to put.
It is.
We had numbers a little bit when we did the campaign to petition for the 2024 Olympic game in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember the exact number, but that's when I remember that we were the number 3 most played sport in the world as far as cue sports, snooker, pool, carom, all together, which, I'm assuming it's kind of
Almost
easy to put an
everybody
approximation.
knows billiards.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. A lot of people, they've all played once in their life pretty much, and it's kind of crazy,
Yeah,
I've never played hockey in my life, for example, and I don't think I ever will necessarily. I don't have the connection or nothing to it. If you're not born with that, or if you're not in the country like here, it's difficult. But pool, anybody's played.
yeah.
There's just no going around it. You'll have at some point. You'll have to have played.
So you have been doing this for a living, professionally,
About 10 years now.
10 years.
Yeah.
So what do you think the future brings for Venom and Florian?
Well, I think it's already in action, really. Again, thinking on a purely business point of view, you can't just keep doing shows after shows after shows. It's it's a grind. It's a very difficult life.
Mhm.
So that's why I invested in that pool league in Vegas to be home a little more often. So obviously we're gonna try to grow this one, and I think once this is grown and I have sort of a solid foundation and backup, then maybe I'll be able to decide a little more which direction I want to head. But it's it's kind of interesting because, and it might sound conceited a little bit, but I figured by now some kids will be better than me and would actually I'll have somebody to compete against for trick shots, but I still don't. There's a lot of kids that posting stuff on the internet and, a few things here and there, but and everybody's like, oh, have you seen this guy? It's so good. It's going to be better than you. Like, you guys realize that this kid is doing my shots that I've invented 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So they still have not caught up as far as my own level is, which I think is amazing. That means 10 years I've been pretty much at the top of my game.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you explain that? That nobody's come up with new stuff right now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because, it used to be my motivation. We had a bunch of different guys who just had to push and push and push. And I pushed it so far that nobody's really been able to go at my level at the moment. So I'm kind of waiting a little bit, but I'm hoping that some kid is going to start to really come up with new crazy shots that we can actually push it back.
Yeah.
And I think I have another 10, 20 years in me to really, push
and of
hard.
course there's other side of that, doing the trick shots, do it in live and just record it.
The live is interesting because the live you have to do it hard enough that it looks impressive, but also you got to make sure you can make the shots, right?
Yeah.
Because if you miss every shot, and I've seen it done and it's happened, people don't care, like you could try the hardest shot in the world, if you don't make it, it's not gonna matter much.
Yeah.
So, but that I've learned from actually Tom Rossman and Mike Massey, who are two of the top trick shot guys out there. And I remember seeing Tom Rossman, probably also known as Dr. Q, missing, 25 out of 30 shots that day, literally. And people were still laughing, and I'm like, this is the way, and people still enjoyed the show. Yeah. They wouldn't remember he missed 25 shots out of 30, but he did. And that day I realized what needs to be done, and that's why you need one good show put together that you can control from the beginning to the end to really understand what's going to happen. And once you get it, then it's really good because not a lot of pool players or trick shot artists have a good show.
Yeah.
You have 10 minutes, 15, but to get a full hour show, it's not easy.
Can you say how long it took from you for you to create this show, what you're doing tonight?
Well, the show evolves a little bit over the years as well, but it's hard to say, because I think the first 2 or 3 years I was doing it a little bit for a living, you still hit and miss on some stuff and try to add things that don't work necessarily, and you got to find, but over the years, I'd say probably the last 5 years, I'm able to find which shot works and which shot don't work on people as well. So granted that the US market's a little different than Europe, so Europe has a tendency to like the show a little less actually, simply because they don't like to be involved as much as in the US. In the US, people love to be involved, they love to be made fun of on the table and stuff. Europe has a slightly different touch to it, but it's still, I think right now my show is probably the most complicated as far as shot goes. I still take a lot of risk that most of the other trick shot guy won't take, because there's just no point. And and there's definitely a way, to like avoid making difficult shots and still make it good. But it's just my personal pride that doesn't let me just do easy shots, really.
Yeah. How about if there's some kid listening or watching this from YouTube and they want to start to create their own shots?
Yeah.
What will you say to them?
I don't know, but all I can say is, if you do, you got to start somewhere. So obviously you got to start with the basics and learn the existing shots.
Which is the best place to find some information?
Well, I would say the Mike Massey book. He's got a yellow book that's kind of a Bible for trick shots. It's all the classic trick shots. This is the one book you got to probably learn all the shots from
Mike
there.
Mike Massey book.
Yeah, and then from there, you got to open up. And I think the problem right now is a lot of those kids that just saw all my stuff and they copy it and they try to take credit from it too, which is actually crazy because the whole point is to invent your own thing with trick shots. And the difference is I take it as an art more, right? And the pool table is a white piece of paper, and you're trying to draw something on it. You try to make art with it, and that's the focus, right? Once you understand the technique and the process, then the full focus should be on making your own shots, not just taking something that's already existing, because you can't last like that. You got to make your own thing, and I think that's what life is about. You have to create your own thing.
Yeah. But that's a good base for the people who want to create, who want to learn, because your shots are quite difficult.
It's so easy right now to learn on the internet. I mean, we have all kind of videos, all tutorials. I mean, you can really find everything you need, which was a little different when I started, because obviously it wasn't that long ago, but still
you need to think a lot.
The internet was different, so you didn't have a lot of videos. You had to buy books and you had to figure out by yourself. But now, you click on my YouTube channel and you see a tutorial how to make this shot.
So basically you have made it quite easy for them.
Pretty much, yeah. Not just me too, but like a bunch of pool players did.
Yeah.
So, but yes, absolutely, we've made it a lot easier for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, we're heading to the Suomen Billiard Myynti, which is one of the main sponsors of the event, and see their showroom. There's a few tables, actually quite a lot more than a few tables.
More than a few tables.
And also the class table, what you're shooting with today. So if you want, you can try the table.
Well,
Actually,
funny enough, the table, they're so. I like to. That might come across wrong too, but I like to say that pool tables are like they're like women a little bit.
So each one's
different. A little different, even though they're the same look, same brand, whatever it is, they will play different. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah.
Now the one difference too that's actually big for me is, obviously in Vegas it's very dry.
Yeah.
There's no humidity. Here is the snow, so the humidity is one of my enemy actually.
So how come?
Well, the more humid, the more the ball grips. The more it grips, the harder it is to make a shot. Mm-hmm. For me, the more it slides, the easier, right? So the table is brand new, the felt's very slick, mm-hmm. the balls are very clean, and it's very easy. Well, it's not very easy, but I can manage. But the more it's humid, the more it grabs, the more you have to hit everything hard, the more it gets difficult. Mm-hmm. And obviously, that's a little different. So usually the humidity would be one of the main problem. Which right now it's snowing a little bit. It was a little bit ago, so kind of hard to say. And now, of course, the brand the pool table brand, we don't have those in the US at all. So
yeah,
I have my adjustment already. So for all the other brands, but not this one. So
I think the pockets are quite tight.
Doesn't really matter to me, the pockets. My shots are all technical. Mm-hmm. So the ball don't really, I don't really have to make a ball. It's more the cue ball that.
Yeah. So, is there many cues that you use, or is there one or two, or is there different kind of?
I don't even know how many cues I currently have.
But different shot you have to use.
Yes, yeah.
Different
so
cue.
Against finger buddy like golf.
Different tip.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Main cues right now is my new Q-Tech Avid.
Q-Tech Avid.
That's a new line of cue we developed with Q-Tech. It's a fiberglass. It's a
glass
plain cue.
Kind of a custom.
No. It's a fully open in the market. It's a glass bonded wood shaft. Basically, it's very interesting. Mm-hmm. It's kind of an in between carbon and wood, which I think is the next generation of affordable cue in the world. Mm-hmm. Kamui is super soft, always for me black. And then the rest kamui chalk if I can. The rest is all pretty much stock, but I need a good mass A cue, which is heavier, not quite as heavy as what you're saying about, but my cue is probably about 650 grams.
Quite heavy.
Still pretty heavy, but it's shorter. The shaft is Kevlar and carbon, so it's very solid. It won't break. Ferrules are phenolic or G10, so it's supposed to be indestructible. And then the rest is just jump cues, a lot of jump cues. And then I have also probably a stroke cue, which is more flexible, very thin. So yeah, everything's a little bit different, So I do have with us right now, I only have my playing cue case, so it's just a break cue, like playing cue, a couple different shafts for different things, and you know, maybe a jump cue in there.
Yeah.
And then I have my trick shot case, which has all the other stuff, but which I don't bring if I don't go anywhere. So, you know, for as tennis show or video.
So how many cues are in your case?
Right now, you're probably looking at 8 butts and about 18 shafts.
18.
Maybe 17. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna see those later. Let's go have something to drink. I bet you're thirsty too.
Oh, okay.
On some point. So I asked that, what's in the bag? So the bag was this. That's the first. But
Yeah.
then we have.
That's my pool case.
That's a
Heavy duty travel resistance. Well, ish, huh? It's gone through a lot, but yeah. So I fit the 2 cases sideways in there, diagonal. And this is
So what's in a bag is
normal
what's in
pool
a
case.
bag.
Yeah, normal pool case, trick shot pool case. So
Tricks of pool case.
start here.
Normal case.
Playing cue, Q-Tech Avid, glass bonded wood here. Standard cue, everybody can buy. Kamui super soft clear on it. As you can see, that one's got a little damage on the ferrule, but I've been pushing it, so hopefully it lasts enough. Q Muse, it's a prototype Q. It's not released yet. Another Q-Tech will be slightly more expensive than this one, but I'm gonna use it as my stroke Q. So different shaft, thinner, more flexible, very flexible actually.
Oh yeah,
So
it is. Very.
I do have a playing shaft in there that I'm testing. It's a 10.5 carbon fiber. It's the first of its kind actually. Should be more info next January. But I'm actually liking it. This is a Mass AQ, so this will be a very different
Kevlar?
one. It's Kevlar and carbon. So green is Kevlar, the black is carbon, and it's heavier than you know, most pool cues.
It is. It's like a Kaisa cube,
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, pretty much.
It is actually.
It's close. It's 650 grams, I think. So yeah,
And
it's
this
very
is like
close.
14 millimeters.
It's a 14 tip, yeah, 14 millimeter tip.
Yeah.
Very soft. We got in there. Oh well, we got
There's a Kaisa.
the Kaiser ball
Finnish
that I
Carolina
stole.
ball.
That one's coming back home
Yeah,
with
we're
me.
not telling anybody.
Yeah, one jump cue here. There's a few jump cue for just one shot basically, but unfortunately I bring them all. It's good anyway to have spares for trick shots. You never know what can break, when it breaks. Sometimes you get very unlucky and you know, break a few things. So this is pretty much it for the first case. I'll have to bring my chalk in there. Kamui's 121. That's a different one actually. Where's that? Okay, that's my spare. It's the real one in there. Good to go. Protect it so it doesn't, you know, get old or dry out.
I have used that chalk on some point.
That one is a little dirty, that's the only drawback, but it does play amazing, grips the ball very well. So this is case number 1.
And then the
Case
trick
number
shot. Trick shot gears.
Alright, so this is a little easier. So this is what I call a prop cue. It's also an Avid cue, same line of mine, just a cheaper version of it. Nothing special to it. A few dings here and there, you know, it's been beat. So we just use that as a prop, and prop means they don't really get to play, but this is very playable, of course. Have my carbon fiber shaft that goes with the red one, so bring me the red, there you go. Probably the best jump cue in the world currently. Propel Q-Tech jump cue, thing's a beast. Very deadly to jump and amazing accuracy. Second Mass AQ. For one shot that requires 2, and in case also the first shaft breaks. Actually, this one's not looking too happy. I think I have a ding in the ferrule, but hopefully it lasts with this trip. Yeah. So there we go. More jump shaft. Another prop cue. Only for one shot basically. use a bunch of cues. Jump cue, and the jump mass AQ. It's a combination
these
of a
are
jump
part
cue.
of the trick what you make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is a jump mass AQ. It's still from my old sponsor. I haven't had a new one made yet. And this is basically to jump and mass at the same time. Now, fun part, you gotta put them together. Another funny thing too is, so those are Venom trickshot gem cues. I used to sell them, and because I sold all the good ones, I left a few that had issues with it. So now I'm playing with the couple there. I mean, the joints are a little messed up, but we should be fine. Just gotta test it out to make sure it screws fine.
That's quite an arsenal.
Give me the last one out there. Let's see. I hope this is the good one. Yes, perfect. There we go.
So
That's
we
it.
have 8, 10, 13 cues
Yeah, not bad.
line up.
Good score.
And you need
Need all
each
of
of them.
I will use literally every single one of them during the show.
And we have a 1 hour show, yeah?
Yep.
Se on armun, siitä on puolet sun. Tule tyttö jaatti kanssani mun.